We're going to try and keep you entertained here with a very impromptu, very unrehearsed visit to Gilwell Park. I've never been there, maybe some of you have, but it's the Scout headquarters in the UK, and we've got a couple of the BATC friends there. We've got Frank, in fact, I hope, M0AEU, we're going to show him shortly. We've got Lawrence M0LCM as well on the camera. So hello everybody.
Thank you very much, David, and good afternoon to the BATC CAT 23 conference. Welcome to Gilwell Park. Gilwell Park is the headquarters for the Scout Association in the UK, and we have approximately 110 acres of fields and woodlands for camping, for training of the leaders, and also it's the headquarters for our staff here for the Scout Association. So we're currently stood outside the White House. This is, I think it's a grade 3 listed building. It dates back a very long time. We've got a lot of history here, but it's also been extended over the years. The barn has now been converted to our main reception area for the campsite and the activity centre. And further round, we also have the offices for our staff. We have about 300 staff here at Gilwell Park who are full-time employees of the Scouts Association. Everybody else, leaders, activity advisors and everything, are all volunteers. And we have, I think we've got about 500,000 young members in the UK alone. So a very big youth organisation here in the UK. And Gilwell Park, as I say, is our headquarters. It's also home this weekend to Jamboree on the Air for the UK station here. We have a permanent special event call sign, GB2GP Golf Papa. And this weekend, we're running Jamboree on the Air and Jamboree on the Internet here for a number of youngsters. They're currently at lunch. We have 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So we're unlikely to see any youngsters actually in the station at the moment. But I'm going to give you a quick guided tour and just show you some of the facilities that we've got here. Gilwell Park the Scouts now are a multicultural organisation. And Gilwell Park has religious centres for many of the different main religions. So behind me, you see one of the newest. This is Gilwell Park Mosque. And across to my left here, we have the Buddhist Sala. And further over behind me, there's a Jewish synagogue. We have an open-air chapel, and we also have a Catholic chapel as well on the site. So a lot of buildings. There's a lot of history here at Gilwell Park. We've owned the site since 1909, and it's been the Scouts headquarters ever since. This weekend, we're actually in a small building called the CIC. It's the Colloquium International Centre. I can never remember the name, so everybody just refers to it as the CIC. And we're in there in a couple of the seminar rooms. But just outside here, our one and only, well, in fact, we have 2 aerials here. We have a Carolina Windham for HF, just hanging in the tree, just about to see the lines. And just underneath that, there's also a slim gym for 2 meters. However, that's only half the story. On the other side of the campsite, where we're normally located in one of the classrooms, are our main set of HF and VHF aerials, including a 16-element HF beam on a 100-foot mast. We also have a 2-element on 40 meters. We have a 3-element at 150 feet on HF. We've got VHF, we've got UHF, and we have a full set of satellite aerials as well. Unfortunately, today we haven't got time to take you over to the other side, but we'll certainly try and get some video and post it to the CAT 23 at some point, so you can see some of the aerials that we have here. So, without further ado, let's wander into the building and we'll show you around the station.
So just a reminder to everybody at home now, this is live from Gilwell Park Scouts headquarters, because this is Jamboree on the Air weekend, JOTA, which is an annual event where Scouts work other Scouts with the help of radio amateurs from all around the world. And we've got Lawrence M0LCM on camera, and this is Frank.
So the CIC has been recently refurbished. It's been part of the conference centre here at Gilwell for many years. It's formed part of the training, and now it features as the main dining for campers on site. We have a number of indoor buildings for accommodation, We can accommodate, I think, approximately 200 youngsters indoors on the site from the different buildings, as well as all of the camping. In the past, we've had over 10,000 scouts camping at Gilwell Park. It's big enough to accommodate that sort of number. Nowadays, we see much lower numbers than that. But if they are here for a long time, then they can book their food here, and they'd actually come into the CRC and be fed here. So I'm just going to walk you through to the entrance of that. We won't take you into the dining room. You don't want to see that bit, but this is our nicely refurbished building. And it makes for a very pleasant area for the youngsters to come and enjoy their breakfast or lunch or dinner. Okay, so these are the seminar rooms. There are actually 6 in total. They can be opened out into just 2 big seminar rooms. The left-hand set, at the moment, we're only using a very small part of that for our Skype. The event this weekend is Jamboree on the Air and Jamboree on the Internet. Scouts connect with other scouts all around the world. We're using shortwave radio. We have 3 HF stations running, as well as other associated technology, which we'll see in a moment. But we also do Jamboree on the Internet, and we use Skype, especially here, to connect other scout groups. And they'll come on and they'll obviously see the other group and they'll interact with a Skype call. And very often we'll get scouts there singing a song from the local, or they'll explain what the traditions are of scouting in their countries. And the youngsters get a great deal of satisfaction and enjoyment out of meeting scouts around the world using the internet. So at the moment, as I said, this is lunchtime. This is our Skype room. It's all set up. We've got a session starting at 2 o'clock when my next load of young people will be in with their leaders. And they'll be joining us in here for Skype, and they'll see who they can get. We saw Tunisia earlier. Where else have we seen? I think there was certainly several groups around the UK, but yeah, hopefully there's usually a lot of people on from Europe especially. So we look forward to them meeting scouts from there. All through here, we've got all of these slogans that have been pasted on the walls, and yeah, they keep the scouts entertained while they're doing their sessions and queuing for lunch.
And the adults.
Okay, the shack is fairly noisy at the moment. I can hear that now, but we'll try and give you a quick guided tour. Okay, come on in. Frank, lunch o'clock. So this is the main Jamboree on the Air station, and I can see David and David on the screen at the moment. So it's obviously running on the stream. It's a little bit behind schedule because hopefully it's me up there at the moment and not those two. Anyway, this is our studio. At the moment, I have a television studio set up with a green screen. And what the scouts are doing, or the youngsters, it's not just scouts, it's cubs, beavers, scouts and explorers. I have it set up at the moment so they can come and present the weather. We have a green screen and we have an auto cue on the front of the camera. So they'll come in on the activity and they'll write their script to edit on the auto cue, and then present it on the auto cue, and they can see themselves. So if I stand in front of the camera, let's see if my green screen is still working. Okay, so there's the green screen, and there is the auto cue. And so on the auto cue, I've also got a foot switch here, and I can basically then control the auto cue on the front of the camera and can just scroll it at my own pace. So the scouts come in and they get a chance to write their script, and they then present it to the screen, and we have record. So let's go behind the lights and behind the camera. Let's have a look at the technology section here. Everybody scrambles out of the way. So here's mission control, complete with coffee cups. Thanks, guys. Complete with coffee cups. Here you see the auto cue computer, currently in presenter mode, but they'll come in and they'll edit on that first. We're then running a fairly standard ATEM setup. So ATEM is controlling the green screen. I've currently got graphics and the camera. We've got a remote camera in the rest of the room. If I just switch that back to the data station, there's the data station, and then I can scan that round. The HF station 1, HF station 2, and through in the other room, we're doing a bit of kit building. Again, the guys there have gone for lunch at the moment. They'll be back when the youngsters come in at about 2 o'clock. So that's our remote, just running on a little stream deck there that gives me the access to all of the different bits. The remote camera is further over. We'll see that in a minute. So that's that. We've got graphics into the system, so it allows me to change the background. At the moment, I'm running on one of the media clips that's in the ATEM, but we can actually switch to showing video or stills from there. And that is then control. We've got a hyperdeck in here, so I can actually record it. It's nice to be able to record the performances of the weather, the presenting of the weather by the youngsters, and I can just hit the record button on our hyperdeck and just record it straight to disk, which is really useful. And that's the rest of my desk there. Okay, so this is the rest of the station. One of the things that we have got, one of our leaders here, Tom M0AEU, has very kindly designed and written our dashboard for us with a map. And this interfaces with all of our logs and all of our all of our rigs here at the moment. And it shows live exactly what we're doing on any frequency. So when scouts connect to our website at JOTA.GB2GP.org.uk, they can then see the map and the frequencies live. They can see who we're contacting at the moment. They can also see what we've worked. This has only been running for a couple of hours this morning since we came in. So by the end of the weekend, this hopefully will be full of little dots. And at the end of the weekend, we've got a really good picture of where we've contacted live on there. But it's important for the other scout groups around the world. They can very quickly find out what frequency we're on, so we don't have to rely on the clusters or anything like that to spot us. Okay, let's move forward to give you a quick guided tour of the radio station. We are running data. We're running on a Flex 3000, fairly standard FT8. FT8 is quite a nice mode with the scouts because it allows us to demonstrate very quickly where we're being heard. We run PSK Reporter if it's up and running in the background. No, somebody's moved that off. Thank you. But we have PSK Reporter reporting live our spots, so we can see how far we're getting, and we can see what other stations are on. And obviously, we're able to demonstrate the principles behind the data contact. However, we also have 2 meters and 77s with an ICOM rig. I think it's a 9700, but I'm not sure. I'm getting nods, so that's a 9700. There's my remote camera. That was the one you saw me playing with earlier. Outside, we are running QO100 on narrowband at the moment. We were hoping to have wideband. Unfortunately, Phil is ill and unable to join us this weekend, so we haven't been able to push our television pictures up to the QO100, which we'd hoped for. But we are on narrowband, and Tom here is actually working on the narrowband at the moment. Lawrence has just given you a quick view of the dish outside. We have a unique elevation set up there in order to ensure that it's at the right location, but it works perfectly, and so don't knock something that works. You're on a campsite, what can you do better than a couple of logs? Okay, so our 2 main HF stations here. Both of these are running into flex radios, and they're running across the network to the other side of the campsite. As I said earlier, our main aerials and our main radio station are located in a cupboard in a classroom on the other side of the campsite. It's about 500 yards from here, maybe a little bit less than that. But we basically then run laptops across the network to the flex radios in the cupboard, and it allows us to operate from anywhere on the campsite. We've got very good network throughout the campsite.
Name on the next photo. My name is Mark, Mike Alpha, Charlie. A little bit closer to the microphone so I can hear you.
So that's our, just looking, that's our 40-meter station, and Dave here is working on the 20 meters.
Before I started playing bass guitar, and I joined the band after that. So,
Dave enjoying his time on 20 meters at the moment, I think. So that's our main station. And the youngsters will come in here. We have headphone splitters on all of the radios. So they'll all come in and pick up a pair of headphones and listen to what's being said, and then they'll get a chance to connect with the other people at the other end. Now, hopefully it'll be a lot of scout stations this afternoon, but you can never really tell with JOTA. A lot of people want to talk to Gilwell Park anyway, and so it's always very busy. You can usually be relatively sure of a pile up from early in the morning to late in the afternoon. So at 2 o'clock, this place will be buzzing with youngsters, and we'll have 3 or 4 on each of the radios. Some will be doing the TV station, coming presenting the weather, and then some will be taking part in the kit building. So walk this way.
Good afternoon. My name is Tom. Tango, Oscar.
So we have been doing kit building here at Gilwell Park for probably in excess of 10 years now for Jamboree on the Air. We have anything up to about a dozen stations. I've got about 8 leaders helping me this weekend run the kit building. And what we're doing is we are producing, if they haven't stuck that down, here we go. They get to produce a little electronic kit. This one's an amplifier, and then they can plug it into their phone or whatever music device they're using, and they can actually amplify it through a speaker. He says, looking for one of the kits. They've put all the kits away, as you can see at the back. We've got a lot of the kits all ready to go for this afternoon. We're all set up for a big session this afternoon with them. But they can come in. It takes them, we found about 20 minutes to build the circuits, which is fine. They have 3.5 hours with us in total. So between the Skype and the television and the HF station and the kit building itself, they get 3.5 hours with us. So they hopefully will enjoy it and have a good time here and learn something at the same time. We get a lot of questions about how things work, why we do things in a particular way, as you can imagine. And we're always happy to accommodate them. Okay, so that really is, in a nutshell, that's Gilwell Park. It's not really possible for us to take you over as far as the aerials, but as I said, I'll try and shoot a little bit of video later, and for anybody that's interested, we'll post the video, and you can see the size of our aerial farm, which is fairly extensive. David, fairly brief tour, but I hope that gives you and everybody at CAT 23 an idea of what's going on, and I wish you a very good afternoon. I'll take any questions if we can. We might move outside where it's a little bit quieter, and we'll take any questions if anybody has them, any comments. Other than that, enjoy your lunch and enjoy the rest of CAT 23. Right, let's move back into the corridor. It'll be a little bit quieter.
Well, that's excellent. I mean, it's to be honest, I hope you can hear me, Frank and Lawrence. This has been amazing because impromptu and unrehearsed, but it was brilliant piece. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed watching that. We have got a couple of questions for you. One of them was, are the antennas there permanently at Gilwell Park?
Yes, they are. So apart from the one I've hung in the tree outside, the ones that we have here permanent, we have had a radio station at Gilwell Park since the late 50s. It's moved around the site a couple of times. It used to be in the maintenance shed over the other side of the campsite, but we now have a permanent location over near the camp square. We have an Akiva tower, one of the cell towers here, or at least a linking tower. We had a mast up before Akiva wanted to put one up, and so we came to an arrangement, and they just extended us by about 60 or 70 feet, and we still have a couple of our aerials on the very top of that, and we've since developed and put in additional masts. We have 3 permanent masts and a mobile tower. As I said, we have a 16-element opti-beam, 3-element tri-bander, 2 elements on 40. We can do 6, we can do 2, we can do 70 centimeters. I think we've got a capability for 4 meters somewhere. We cover everything. Dipoles from the top of the mast for 80 and 160. And yeah, that really sort of covers us. So 24/7, the station can be active here. During the summer, we'll find that if we've got a lot of activity camps here at the campsite, then we can come in and provide an activity. We used to run radio orienteering here. We'll go out into a tent in the middle of the field and run it. The network extends right across all of the camping fields. There are posts in the middle of the field, and you'll find a little cat socket in the side of that. You can go and just plug your Cat 5 into it, and off you go. That's not a problem at all. So very, very well covered with the infrastructure here, and the site is permanent. Sorry.
Lovely. No, it's excellent.
Sure.
I hope we're not losing the connection after that. No, we're just a little bit shaky there on the connection, but hopefully you can hear me. So it's presumably you've been doing this for quite a long time, so you've seen a lot of changes. And I wonder about youngsters now. A lot of us try and get youngsters interested in amateur radio, and the Scout seems a great way to get them involved. Is it something for many of them that they've never seen before, never heard of before, and that it does excite them?
Yes. So I have been doing this a while, and in fact, I'm spent the first night in one of the patrol cabins over the far side of the site, and I realised that it was the location that got me interested in radio in the first place. Are we losing it? Are you right?
We've got you. It's okay.
It was the location that got me interested in radio in the first place, and that was 42 years ago. So I've been here a while. Are they still interested? Yes, they are. They're seeing technology that nowadays is a little bit unusual, and we have Morse key in there that they can send a bit of Morse code. Radio generally, although all of them have a phone in their pocket, they don't appreciate how radio works or what it does. And they are fascinated by the fact that with just a bit of wire strung in a tree outside, you can hear all of these people around the world and you can make contact with them. You don't need the internet in order to be able to talk to people. So we find that the youngsters have an incredible interest in it and a fascination, and especially something like the kit building. That's something they don't necessarily get the chance to do at school. It's probably something their parents don't do, and to come and build an electronic circuit that then works, it blows their minds in some cases.
Fantastic. Well, I think we're going to leave you there because we're holding on to the phone signal. It's been great, and we've got lots of wonderful comments, seriously, on both BATC and on YouTube. Dave M0AEU says, excellent stuff, Frank. They were aerials in my RAE. I'll continue to use aerials. So that's from him. And M0AEU says, hello to Frank from us at GB2WSD watching on QO100. I don't know where that is, actually.
Okay,
do you know where that is?
Hopefully we'll speak to some of the other stations around. I know there are a couple of stations around. Unfortunately, plans for getting our signal from here up to QO100 haven't materialised for the television. Maybe next year we'll have another go. But it's certainly been a pleasure to be able to show you around the station here today, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I think with some of the pictures from our BATC are being streamed by other amateurs to others making contact through QO100. So you're making it there. Just to worry one last final question. You're obviously on the air now. You're on the air today until what time, and then tomorrow? Can you give us the times, please, Frank?
So today we've got youngsters here until 5:30 today. Tomorrow we have a session from 9 till 5 with a break for lunch in the middle, an hour at, I think it's 12:30 tomorrow. But this evening, a lot of the operators will be back in the shack. So we should be on from, I would imagine, anything from about 8 o'clock onwards. As to what time we finish, that's up to the operators. I have been known to go right through, but those were in my younger days. Now I think we should probably be here till midnight at least, possibly 1 or 2 for those that are keen. But if you do see us, as I said, look out for the website. Give us a shout on Facebook, or I'm not really doing any of the other social media platforms at the moment, but GB2GP has a Facebook page. Please do have a look at it and join us. Give us a shout on there. If you're on the air, please do give us a call, because we welcome any calls we can get. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, I know I promised it was a final question, but I have got one very final question now, because we have got a few people asking, including Tim G4DBL. Are you looking for volunteers to help at Gilwell Park, or do you have enough radio amateurs to do the things that you want to do?
We're always looking for volunteers, especially the Scout Association looking for leaders, etc. Now, I don't think that was the aim of the question, but I will give a plug at the moment that leaders are always very welcome. In terms of volunteers for the station here, we have quite a big team. There's about 25 of us in total, with everybody that helps on and off. We have 2 other sites this weekend. We have Yulbury in Oxford, and we also have Broadstone Warren down in Sussex. And at those stations, we're looking to establish, or those campsites, I should say, we are looking to establish more permanent radio setups. So if you're closer to Oxford or to West Sussex, it may be something you can do there, but certainly here, very often there's the chance that we might not have people available. So yeah, volunteers are always welcome. We're going through a slight change here at the moment where the room that we use for the radio station is being used for other purposes generally. So we are hoping to change the setup and move to a more permanent purpose-built building at some point. However, that's long-term plans, not short. But yeah, if there is anybody interested, you've got my details as editor of CQTV. Drop me a note. I will certainly get back to you, and I can add you to the list of volunteers that would like to come and operate here. And yeah, you'd be welcome.
Thank you very much, Frank, and thanks to you and to Lawrence for being cameraman for this very impromptu tour, and also to all of your colleagues there, especially helping on the radio side for JOTA and JOTI, Jamboree on the internet as well. And just to prove this really does work and get people interested in our hobby, Andy G4RFX says that he discovered radio through JOTA 40 years ago. So there's living proof that what you're doing is really helpful to keep our hobby alive and bring new people in. Both, once again, thanks very much to you, Frank, and to Lawrence and everybody else there at Gilwell Park.
Thank you, David. Have a good afternoon, everybody. We'll see you at the next cap. Cheers.
And you. Thank you very much.